Hello, I'm Q, and today we're going to Dulzura, California. It's currently 11:59 a.m. Friday, January 3rd, 2025. We're heading east to this weird little town because something I like to do is scroll around on my map satellite view and look for weird stuff to check out. Usually me and my buddies are looking for like abandoned buildings and bridges, tunnels, ponds, and lakes, dams, and stuff like that. The other day I was doing exactly that, and I found this tiny place on the map called Dulzura, an unincorporated community barely within San Diego County and surrounded by what appears to be miles of nothing. So today we're going to check it out. On Google, Dulzura has 3 places to potentially get something to eat or drink and seemingly nothing else. These establishments include a taco shop, a mini market, and a cafe, which I'm not too sure actually exists. The taco shop has been reported as the only place to eat, have a beer, or get smoked tacos. I think today's adventure will be a success if we're able to accomplish one of those things. However, if you search for restaurants in Dulzura on Yelp, there seems to be only one place that's genuinely in the town, and that's the Dulzura Mini Market. Meanwhile, the Dulzura Cafe %2C is absent of any online information whatsoever, aside from a phone number of which I have no plans of calling. And of course, for a mission like this, I didn't want to travel alone. In order from closest to furthest from sea level, we have Z, an expert pack mule with a surprisingly high IQ and advanced sense of humor, here to make it a hell of a lot easier to edit this episode. Behind the camera is E, a gifted artist with a strong passion for animals and a keen eye for things that look cool. We made it! First impressions of Dulzura, it's tiny. It has the structural complexity of that of like a small Zelda town with just a huge Red Dead flavor all over it. It's the tiniest little cowboy town I've ever seen, and I've been to Pioneer Town many times. Let's walk around. There was one chicken walking around. No other sign of wildlife here yet, though. This kind of reminds me of one of our old lady friends' backyard out in the middle of nowhere. Now I'm going to investigate the Dulzura public restroom. I'll be right back. There's somebody in there. I'll come back another time. This is great news, folks. We found another animal in the small town of Dulzura, California. Domestic house cat, I think. All right, after some light roaming, it's time to check out potentially what might be the one and only place to eat, get a beer, or get smoked tacos. And I think that's the mini market, if I remember correctly. I'm a big fan of these lanterns here. Okay, folks, it looks like we found the Dulzura Cafe %2C, which is a sign inside of the Dulzura mini market, which I think is also the taco shop. We're saved. They got Arizona here. Dulzura's all right. So far, we're looking pretty good. It's a great town. They got beer too. I'm actually quite surprised by their selection of beer here. They have more than 3, which is impressive. They even have the Topo Chico hard seltzer. It's not very good, but it's the best out of any of those terrible drinks. I'm feeling bold and daring today. I think I'm going to ask if we can speak to a local resident. Maybe ask him a few questions about this lovely tiny town. What's your name?
Jose.
Jose, I'm Q. It's good to meet you.
Nice to meet you, Q.
How long have you lived in Dulzura?
More than 20 years.
Wow, why do you live in Dulzura?
I love it out here.
Yeah, what is there to love out here?
You can grow your own vegetables, you can farm, you can grow a lot of You have your own livestock, your life, riding horses, riding quads. You can go hunting out here, you can go fishing out here, you can go hiking out here, you can go stargazing out here in the mountains. There's a lot to do out here.
Where do
If you
people
like the
where do
outdoors.
people do the horse riding and the fishing and what?
So actually, right behind us, it's all BLM land.
BLM.
BLM land. Oh yeah, so this used to be called Dulzura Cafe, but in 2015 we renamed it in Dulzura Mini Market.
All right.
But this is an old building from the 30s. Those are the original stools from the 30s. And if you guys go to the post office, that's old from the 1887. It's the second smallest post office in the U.S.
Wow.
You can go check it out right now. It's only one person at a time.
Can you buy train tickets from that post office too?
You can ask Jake.
We did it. We got something to eat and drink in Dulzura, California. And these smoked tacos were actually pretty great. I'm not going to take a bite of this one though. I have it in front of me for the camera to make it look like I'm eating. But actually, I inhaled my tacos off camera. Oopsie. I hear a chicken. I really hope that interview that we did with the dude in there worked out. I don't know if he was holding the microphone correctly, but we'll figure it out when we edit this later. But he mentioned some horses nearby, so we're gonna go see if there's a horse that we can interview too. We're venturing 3 blocks down from the heart of Dulzura to go to Jack's house, who apparently has some friendly animals that would be willing to meet us, and perhaps
will be able to interview one of them.
Whole lot of nothing out here. After traveling about 300 miles on foot on the outskirts of the progressive town of Dulzura, California, I think we finally made it to animal country. So it looks like we have a friendly neighbor here. Well, I'm gonna ask you a couple questions. Hi, I'm Q and I'm making a documentary about Dulzura, California. Can I ask you a couple questions? Thank you. How long have you lived in Dulzura? Let's try that again. Hi, my name is Q and I'm doing a documentary on Dulzura, California. Can I ask you a couple questions? Thank you. How long have you lived in Dulzura? Let me try that again. How long have you lived in Dulzura? Let me try that again. How long have you lived in Dulzura? Do you have anything you'd like to say to anybody that'd like to visit this town? Thank you so much. Well, folks, I think we saw just about everything there is to see within Dulzura, California. Something I wasn't anticipating about Dulzura, California, and I didn't mention previously, is how nice the weather is here. It's almost like it's in San Diego. One thing I do particularly like about this town so far is the lack of trash on the ground, I've noticed. There's hardly any litter. There's a handful of objects that seem like they're in a place where they don't actually belong, but it feels like decoration or just part of the town's charm. For example, right here we have a toilet with a cactus in it. And here's what appears to be the one and only hieroglyph still standing in Dulzura, California. It's rumored to have been etched centuries ago by ancient Dulzurians.
Tahitians?
Around the time this post office was built, I believe. Potentially my favorite part about Dulzura, California has to be this tiny little post office. It's so cool. I think the guy in there said it was built in like 1362 or something, around the time my dad was born. And I love it. It's barely taller than I am, and I'm like 7 feet tall. There's few things in this world that are more special to me than a good red door. My only complaint about this red door would be the jarring silver doorknob and lock system. But this is a pretty solid red door. Oh man. Well folks, I'm very curious what this mysterious black liquid in this bucket might be. It doesn't look like, it might be oil. Once again, I'm going to attempt to try out the Dulzura public restrooms. I'll be right back. There's somebody in there again, I think. I had a lot to say, so I wrote it down. Unfortunately, as soon as we were finished recording my brief interviews with the local wildlife, my one and only camera died, and my portable charger was in my car, right before I had a wonderful conversation with another Dulzura native, Jack, the father of these polite creatures and the owner of Camp Ranch. Jack's wife is a fourth-generation Dulzura native, and her bloodline has owned this property for the last 114 years. Her great-great-grandfather purchased 200 acres of land in 1910, most of which ended up having to be sold to the local border patrol, leaving them with the current amount of 80 acres of land, home to 2 donkeys, 3 horses, 26 goats, 7 pigs, and a rooster that they haven't seen in a while. Jack shared stories with me regarding even more of the deep history that lives within the town of Dulzura, as well as complained about the new paint job on the tiny ancient post office. In response to my question about what locals do for fun on a Friday night or what their idea of nightlife is like, I didn't get much. In Dulzura, there are no bars, nightclubs, strip clubs, weed stores, or movie theaters, but it's an honest, humble, friendly corner of America with decent smoked tacos, a minor abundance of animals, fantastic weather, and definitely more hidden treasures I'll have to come back for with a headlamp and maybe a metal detector. I was anticipating today's expedition to be a good amount of Red Dead with a dash of Indiana Jones, but after we've completed our journey, it felt like a pit stop at Flatneck Station down the way from Emerald Ranch. Tune in next week, we're going to Blackwater.